Good morning, guys. So I've just gotten back from an amazing weekend vacation, which I really needed late last night. And so I need to go up to my garden immediately and check on all these little baby seeds and seedlings that I have up there and make sure that nothing has dried out while I've been gone. I also have some exciting stuff here that I got in the mail from Baker Creek. These are my sweet potato starts, live plants, gotta get them in. Very exciting. Pandan plants, pandan grass. And this is a very aromatic grass found mostly in Asia. It's very rare here in the States. I think it's also known as screw pine, if I'm not mistaken. This is used to flavor a lot of different desserts. Like you may have seen some bright green kind of sponge cakes. That's pandan. Anyway, we love it. I have planted it before. It was very expensive to get, and I planted it in a pot outside. And then when it got too cold, the pandan died. So what I'm going to do is I am going to plant it in a pot outside again because it's summer and it will be nice. But as soon as it gets cold, I want to bring it inside. So it's very important to pick a pot that is not too big that somebody can't lift it and bring it in. Anyway, these are fun things for us to do today, and also just check and see how all those little seeds and seedlings are doing. And hopefully I didn't neglect them too much. Okay, why don't you guys come with me? Might need some coffee first though. For those with very hot summers, plant in part sun to shade, keeping protected from full afternoon sun. This is the north facing, this is north, south. So that would make that west and that east. So you can see there's some sun coming in here. In the morning it gets some, and then in the afternoon it gets some, but it's never really bright. So I think this is a nice corridor for this plant. Plants can be grown outdoors in USDA zones 9 through 11. This is zone 9 or 10, depending. They can get pretty small. Or grown indoors as a house plant, as long as they stay above 45 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hardy to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what that means. They're drought sensitive, so they have to be kept well watered, especially in the heat of summer. I've already amended my pots with compost and worm castings, as you may have noticed is my magical combination. So I do that pretty much, that is like my normal routine. I don't need a lot of room for these. These guys can get huge, but I've selected these pots which are about a foot wide and about a foot tall, so that I can bring these inside in the winter, because even here in Southern California, we got down to cold enough temperatures that my previous pandan plant did not make it. So that is how I selected this size of pot. And there you go. That one looks nice. Very easy to do. And I just need to water these. So I'll go get my watering can. I'm finished with this. Always plant plants at the level that they're already growing, meaning the soil level when you put them in should be the same as the area that you're putting them into. The one exception is tomatoes. You may have learned in one of my other videos. Okay, but most plants like that. Right, I'm gonna go water these. Be gentle, you don't wanna displace the soil too much. But you are trying to integrate the soil of, what was already surrounding the plant's roots and the soil that you're putting it into. So you're kind of trying to get that to settle together. That's the goal of this initial watering. So, and usually, a great rule of thumb for watering plants in general is that you water them slowly until you start to see water draining out the bottom, which means you have to have drainage. If you haven't learned that from me already, that is very important. You must have a pot that has holes in the bottom of it. Okay, got some water under there. And this one. Okay, let's see how this pandan does. It is so aromatic and beautiful. We actually buy the leaves frozen from like the Thai market. There's nothing like growing your own herbs. And this little corridor is right outside my kitchen. So it's great because I can just grab whatever I need. Perfect. And now, for the big reveal. Ah! Those are two baby Aonaga Ajubai cucumbers. The other side didn't go yet. The Bait Alpha cucumbers got one right here. That is not one. Not one, one. Just because I know what they look like. I put my okras right there so that they could get the sprinkler. They're not sprouted yet. Neither are the melons. All the little tomatoes, this is the one I meant to plant here. These are all, this one too, volunteers. Which I saw them early on, I just left them because I figured if these guys, you know, these are the ice candy I planted, if they don't take for some reason, at least I have another tomato growing right here. These right here, these are cucamelon ones. These always volunteer every year because they were so prolific growing, see all these dead vines? Everywhere. So a lot of little baby cucamelons dropped in this bed and I can recognize these. This one is actually, looks like it's a brassica of some sort. I was growing some kale here as well. So these I'm okay with getting rid of. Hello, little bug. Roly-polies are not great, but they're not the worst either. Try not to get too upset. Okay. I left all these in here just in case I don't have something to plant. Nothing is dead, which is great. Look at how many of these cucamelons are everywhere. They're easier to pick now than later, so I just go to town. And this is my cilantro that I wanted to plant in a pot and I haven't got around to it. My basil, same story. There's the little Napa Chardonnay tomato. They haven't really taken off, but they're alive and they look vibrant. Barry's crazy cherry tomato. They have nice hairy stems, so that's cool. Hairy stems is a good sign for tomatoes. These were the volunteers that I potted up. They're still in their pots because I'm not sure if I'm gonna want to plant them here. Which kind of tomato are they? They're not the same because that one has a slightly different leaf than that one. And if I don't like them, I can plant one of these. So just leaving my options open. Ooh, corn, corn. Okay, see, this might have been an issue because you can see this bed is not all wet. And I planted some like here, here, and here. So this could be an issue. Although some of these are sprouting where it's nice and wet. That is a tomato volunteer. I'm going to take that out now. No tomatoes in this bed this year. That is also, looks like a cucamelon. I see another tiny corn thing popping up there. And one here. So I'm gonna water this bed. Oh, and one there. And see, oh, and there's one. And there's one. Okay, the only one is this corner. That might not have gotten enough water. So, not bad. My little celery guys here, they're looking okay. So these all need water. Look at those radishes. Holy, oh, I told you these are fast. This is exciting. And we even have some little tiny, tiny sprouts, which are carrots. You know, you can see these things, they each have their own time. You know, they each take a little bit of a different time to sprout. So it's cool because then there's always something exciting to. I'm getting more cucamelons out. You didn't know. Don't pull it. So look, you'll start to be able to know which, you know, what the seedlings look like. When in doubt, just leave them in until you can do a little more research. My Mizuna. Oh, it's so good. The lettuce, anyone? Yeah, there's not a lot of lettuce situation going on here, but oh, that could be, this is a tomato. We'll see what happens. Okay, I have my pots of little things. See, these definitely were getting dry, but they've stayed alive, thank God. So I'm gonna water all these up. All right, this is the spot I've chosen for my sweet potatoes. I don't have any more bed space, unfortunately. This is really small amount of space for sweet potatoes, but it will be something, and then at least I can use one or two of them at the end of the harvest to grow more starts for next year. So I'll show you how to do that when we get to that point in the year. I filled these with a palm and cactus mix. That's the type of soil that sweet potatoes like. Sweet potatoes are actually tropicals, and they're more closely related to the morning glory flower than they are to normal potatoes. So they really like, you know, well-drained soil, bright, hot sun, full sun, and that's what I'm gonna give them. Before I do that, I want to actually mix in a little bit of this fertilizer. This fertilizer is 5-10-10. And if you notice, all fertilizers do have these numbers. They'll change, but they always have 3 numbers on them. And those always represent the 3 top nutrients that plants need to grow, which are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. It's always in that order. NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So nitrogen is mostly in charge of green growth, like foliage. Phosphorus would be flowers and fruits. So that encourages that. And then the potassium is for roots, generally. They all help with everything, but those are kind of the core purposes of each of those nutrients. Because I cook a lot, I can kind of guess what a 1/4 cup is. You want to be really careful. If you're not good at this kind of thing, you don't do a lot of cooking or baking, and you're not familiar, then definitely don't wing it, because over fertilizing can be very damaging to your plants. All right, and you always want to mix it in. Very important. If it's sitting there on the surface or even just kind of clumped in without being very mixed, it can burn the plants. You can plant a sweet potato into the ground, but it's best to start the slips on the potato and then remove them and then plant those yourself if you're experienced. And if you're not experienced, or if you just want things to be easier and know that you have a disease-free plant, you can order these slips from a reputable source. As you know, I love Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, and that's where I got these. They have a huge selection of different sweet potatoes. So these came pretty quick too. Supply chain has been good this year. Last year was tough. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a spot in between, right in the middle for each one of these. Each get their own. Again, you want to plant them at the same height that they've already been growing, so keep that soil level consistent. So I actually fill in a little bit more. There we go. Just it nice and firm in there. Pat that down. Okay, it's great. It's very warm out today. I might think about putting a little bit of shade cloth around these. It could also help to keep pests out of here because I'm growing these outside of my enclosure as I don't have a lot of room inside right now to add these pots. And, you know, I can put chicken wire over the top of it so nothing can dig in it. But maybe I can kill two birds with one stone and use shade cloth for these because I'm not sure if they were grown indoors or out, and I don't want them to get sun scald. So something really important to keep in mind. And now we planted our sweet potatoes and our pandan, which is super exciting. So there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot more that's going to grow this week. So tune in next week and I'll show you all the new growth that's been happening in my garden. I hope that your gardens are flourishing as well. Just remember to pay attention to them and they will reward you. Come out to your garden often. You know, I have chairs in my garden, so I can just sit out here and hang out. And that's when I really look around and go, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Plants need to be nurtured just like people and pets. They're living things. So anyway, guys, that's enough for today. I hope you have a great week. And don't forget to like and subscribe, whatever you do. And I'll see you next week. How about that? Mwah.